Welcome to In the Gap. I'm Catherine with the Estate Law Center, and the following is a collection of law articles using personal stories to explain the meaning and importance of estate planning. This is meant to be educational and does not establish an attorney-client relationship. Enjoy the following story. Behind the photo, the road to guardianship. Capture the imagination of the audience, draw them in, lead them through, take them all the way to the end. The encouragement espoused in journalism class does not necessarily carry over to the drafting of motions presented in a court of law. However, the petition being reduced to mere pages, I want to bring to life for the court the conditions in which the respondent lives, her inability to make sound decisions for herself, the respondent's denial of her deteriorating health and need for medical care, and the efforts of loving family members to help the respondent maintain her quality of life. Reading over the timeline documenting a point years ago when signs of behavioral changes first manifested and dealing the progressive deterioration of cognitive abilities cuts to the deepest of emotions. There seems to be no magic remedy for cognitive challenges. Accompanying the timeline are photographs. The initial pictures depict a beautiful woman in what may have been just before the onset of illness. The same beginning shows a lovely brick colonial-style home, the kind that is timeless, welcoming front porch, elaborate wood moldings inside, and adorned with framed pictures and antiques. One can picture the respondent creating such beauty and raising a family within the safe walls of the home. The photographs that follow confirm the digression represented in the timeline. The exterior of the house is in disrepair, and the gardens look like overgrown fields. The interior shows lack of care, thick cobwebs on windowsills, extensive remnants of food and drink, and rooms and hallways filled with piles of articles like clothing in boxes, some impassable, and a few with narrow pathways from points A and B. The most heart-wrenching photograph is that which depicts the respondent sitting in an armchair, the one clear spot in the room amidst chaotic piles, a blank and unregistering look on a face that once was so vibrant. The present challenge is to help this precious human being who has done so much for so many and who now cannot care for even herself. Though the environment in disarray appears to have no effect, she does not seem to recognize her own limitations and does not think she needs help. Help is precisely what is essential. When an individual is in need of assistance to maintain her quality of life, the court prefers the least restrictive means, such as a power of attorney and an advance medical directive. However, when an individual does not have these estate planning documents in place, giving agency authority to another to make decisions on behalf of the individual, and does not have the cognitive ability to grant agency, the tool that the Code of Virginia makes available to any person who wants to help an incapacitated adult is that of seeking guardianship of the individual. In Section 64.2-2000 of the Code of Virginia, the term guardian is defined as a person appointed by the court who is responsible for the personal affairs of an incapacitated person, including responsibility for making decisions regarding the person's support, care, health, safety, habilitation, education, therapeutic treatment, and, if not inconsistent with an order of involuntary admission, residence. As circumstances change within families, as hard as it is to accept the reality, there are times when there are role reversals and the children step into a type of parental role as the parent now needs to be cared for. Prior to taking such action, families may go through cycles of denial. Mom thinks the cashier at the grocery store is trying to take all of her money. I think she's just tired and overwhelmed. Did you notice that Dad did not seem to recognize me yesterday? Maybe he had a lot on his mind. I know that Mom forgets to eat. However, I think she's fine. I will just keep cooking her favorite food for her. Often, adult siblings will combine efforts to care for an adult parent in need. However, escalating dependency may occur, and the challenge is identifying if anyone other than the adult parent has the legal authority to make decisions for the adult parent. The determinative point is whether the person is incapacitated. Thankfully, when ascertaining the presence of incapacitation, the Code of Virginia sets the bar fairly high, and the evidence must be clear and convincing. There are seemingly innumerable domestic situations in which an adult child would not make the same decision as the parent. For example, making poor monetary decisions such as giving a large sum of money to a relative does not necessarily mean one does not fully comprehend such an action, as well as that action's ramifications. Having rooms filled with clutter, even to the point of being labeled a hoarder, does not mean one is incapacitated. Neither does refusing to take medications, declining financial assistance, or becoming reclusive. When concerned family or friends begin to notice a combination of challenges faced by a loved one, such as denial of medical diagnosis, discounting poor living conditions, acts of ignoring financial commitments, not seeking medical treatment when such action is imperative to one's health, inability to understand one's surroundings in a manner that warrants the assistance from others, a susceptibility to exploitation like scams, and a victim of neglect without the wherewithal to change one's circumstances, seeking legal counsel is wise. In Section 64.2000 of the Code of Virginia, an incapacitated person means an adult who has been found by a court to be incapable of receiving and evaluating information effectively or responding to people, events, or environments to such an extent that the individual lacks the capacity to meet the essential requirements for his health, care, safety, or therapeutic needs without the assistance or protection of a guardian, or manage property or financial affairs, or provide for his support. As harsh as it may seem to have a court deem a loved one as incapacitated, an order for appointment of guardian is a tool that can be used as a protective measure for a person who is truly in a position of not being able to interpret her environment and is placing herself in harm's way. It is my hope that this story resonates with you. The Estate Law Center serves clients throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia in the practice areas that touch most of our lives: estate planning, elder law, and business law. The motto of the Estate Law Center is protecting the stewardship of your God-given assets. Enjoy additional articles read from In the Gap, and for more information, please visit estatelawcenter.com. I leave you with this, and the following comes from my heart. We must protect those who are not able to speak for themselves. We must protect our neighbor who has been wronged by another. We must reach out to the elderly who may be overwhelmed by a vast system of laws. We must act boldly when others may be caused to be weak and use the protective arm of the law to guard against the trampling of individual liberties. Thank you for joining this segment of In the Gap.